We're in the last stages of a confirmation for Amy Coney Barrett, but she just reaches, as she just reaches the court, Democrats are pushing term limits for the Supreme Court justice. You heard that right, term limits. Let's go deeper on the issue. Joe Tacopina is a former prosecutor and now one of America's highest profile defense attorneys. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Carl. Sorry for my little informality, but it's the World Series versus Dodgers. I'm my dad, so.
For a second, I thought it was a Biden hat.
No.
Yeah, no. But first, let's start with these term limits for the Supreme Court justices. Do you think this will ever happen, and how damaging could this be?
Well, first of all, let's talk reality. There is zero chance of passage in the GOP-led Senate. It's never happening. It's never going to happen. So I don't think we really have to dig too deep into it. But quite frankly, as a Supreme Court purist, if you will, it should never happen. The Supreme Court isn't broken. That's actually the one body of the judiciary that actually functions very well. You have the smartest people in the country on there who, for the most part, yeah, there are obviously partisan, individuals on there, more conservative, less conservative. But for the most part, they come together to do what they believe is right by the law, intellectually. And I just think we need to not fodder with what's working. The Supreme Court is working fine. Look, there are no term limits for federal court judges, so it would be odd that the Supreme Court judge, the highest federal court judge in the land, would have term limits. It's not necessary.
Yeah, and this is something, look, the Democrats, when they lose, they change the rules. This is what happens when they, Trump lost the popular vote, therefore he should be the president, despite the fact the Constitution says electoral college. Then they say, we're going to put term limits, but the biggest thing is packing the court. So what do you say about this? And is it doable, or is it just totally wash out the court because they'll add 4, we'll add 8, they'll add 16, we'll add 32? I mean, what's your take on packing the court?
It's ridiculous. Again, it's something that should not happen. Supreme Court works. We may not all agree with the rulings, but if you look at the history of our country and the republic, it really has put forth laws that have served us well as a nation. And we may agree with some, disagree with some, but for the most part, we know we have the greatest jurists in the world in that courthouse. And I think that, packing the court, this is not a political body. The nice part about the United States Supreme Court, it is apolitical. Yes, there are, again, conservative nominees, liberal nominees, and so on and so forth. And you have Scalia on one side, who is a friend of mine, and you have, Ginsburg on the other side. And yes, but that's what makes the court balanced, and that's what brings sort of this great intellectual process to bear. Stacking the court, this is not a political process. It's not the Senate, it's not the House, it's not anything else, and it should be left alone. It's working just fine.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But so ACB is about to be confirmed. I mean, it's pretty much inevitable at this point. How much will this change the court? We're talking about a 6-3. Some people are saying 5-4 now, but it realistically is 6-3 conservative justice.
Yeah, I mean, it will obviously have an effect. I think it will have a bounce. I mean, when you compare Ginsburg to Barrett, obviously there's a big difference in at least core principles and how they view things in life. That being said, what impressed me about Barrett is that she's really like a decent human being, a good person, someone who, she has her religious beliefs, but I don't think that's necessarily negative. I know a lot of people, my brethren, are scared that someone with religious beliefs will come onto the court and impose those beliefs when interpreting the law. She's made it clear she's not going to do that. I believe her. She seems to be a honest human being and a good person, obviously very intellectual and very smart. And the fact that someone's religious doesn't make them not qualified. Actually, to me, it shows that they have a moral compass that's strong. And as long as she just interprets the law by the law, not based on her, her religious sort of leanings,
right.
I think we're going to be fine. I think she's going to be great.
Yeah, so and I want to kind of change gears here. Conservatives are fighting back against Google, other big tech, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. They've censored folks on the right for years. Where do you see this going? I mean, look, you have Laura Loomer out there who's now running for Congress and actually has a shot at winning. And she's suing Facebook and Twitter and all these people for billions of dollars. Are we going to win this fight? Where does it stand? Are they going to be able to hide behind the Communications Decency Act? Where does that stand?
I mean, really for many years, Google has used these sort of anti-competitive tactics to maintain an extended monopoly in the market. I mean, it's not a secret. It didn't just happen this week, this month, this year. Look, they pay Apple billions of dollars every year to have their search engine be the one that is used, and therefore. But that being said, it's something that we've known the government has known for years, not weeks or days, and it's something that I question the timing of it. I'm not sure why now, but I honestly don't think this is something that's going to have. And look, the question is, how does it affect the people? Right? Does it deprive the people of freedom of choice, of something that could better their abilities when they're searching for products or whatnot? I don't think the answer. I don't think this is something that is that concerning, quite frankly, to us in the Republic.
Right. So, Joe, while I got you, Ghislaine Maxwell's deposition was just released in the Epstein case, and most of it was redacted. This case involves a lot. I mean, we're talking a lot of big names, and people want justice. They're tired of this two-tier justice system. How long can they hold off from actually putting some people in handcuffs?
I mean, people have been put in handcuffs. I mean, she's in handcuffs.
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein was in handcuffs. Now he's in the ground. But people are going to be called to the carpet on this. I mean, this is something that the federal government and the U.S. Attorney's Office have made clear that they're not going to let go of. I mean, I think Prince Andrew has a day in court coming, quite frankly. I think others have days in court coming. And I said from the get-go, when this case unfolded, the people who are most concerned are not the ones we know about, not the Jeffrey Epsteins and the Maxwells. It's the others who are going to be, those redacted names. I read that deposition that you all sent over, and there are a lot of redactions there where there are names. So clearly there are some very important people, or well-known people, I should say important, well-known people who are going to be thrust in the mix of this thing. This case is so far from over. And she's going to fight. I mean, based on that deposition transcript, she's going to fight her innocence. She's going to claim that she didn't know what Epstein was doing. She never facilitated anything. She worked for him. Right. And she didn't know anything about underage women. So she's going to fight. And because she's going to fight, it means there's probably going to be a trial. If there's going to be a trial, that's when the Pandora's box gets open.
That's when it'll explode. Joe Tacopina, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.